Hello and welcome back to the Lincoln Loco 3. Hope you're all doing well today and looking forward to today's episode as we come up against Almeria B and Sevilla Atletico, which is the B team of Seville. There's also quite a lot to talk about as well before we get into those fixtures, including some new stars for Gibraltar. But first things first, I want to say a big thank you to Yashin and Jake, the newest members of the Patreon. And speaking of the Patreon, there's a few Patreon players to rename in this. One of the perks of the Patreon is that you can have players renamed after yourself or whatever name you want. And we've had a few requests come in from that last youth intake from last season. The first one, of course, is Ian Dolan, this young striker who's got 14 finishing, which is fantastic for this sort of level. So he could be in around the first team next season if he improves. But Ian, he's now going to be known as Jez Jezovic, the second Jez Jezovic, of course, being a left winger that we had in around the block. So welcome to the club, Jez. Great to have you here. We've got a young left winger by the former name of Michael Pickering. He's got 2 caps for the under-21s in Gibraltar at the age of 17, and he is now going to be renamed to Daz Finley. And finally, a 17-year-old centre-back who's got 5 caps for the Gibraltar under-21 squad might be making his first team appearance sooner rather than later. Gavin McHugh, no longer going to be called Gavin McHugh. Jez Finley is your new name. So massive thank you to everyone who's on the Patreon. And of course, if you guys want to get involved yourselves, link down in the description below. Next up, let's talk about the fixtures that happened since you guys were last here. We have played 8 games off camera, and as you can see, we are unbeaten, which is absolutely fantastic. We started off with a game against Montreal, as you can see. We won this game 3-2 with Raul Jr. and Randy Schneider on the score sheet before Kike scored in a 1-1 draw against Don Benito and thus became the record top goal scorer for Lincoln Red Imps, eclipsing the 70 goals scored by Joseph Cipollina. So congratulations, Kike. You are the club's highest ever goal scorer according to Football Manager. Amazing stuff. Following that, though, we had a 5-1 victory over Granada B with Raul and Taylor Crossdale picking up braces alongside Randy Schneider on the score sheet. We then had a game against a team that I cannot and will not try to pronounce. Kike and Andre Schutigel picking up the goals in that one before a 0-0 draw with La Jolla before we beat Tenerife 1-0 with Ethan Brito scoring on a penalty in that game. Another 0-0 against promotion rivals Linese and then a 3-0 victory last time out against Hayen with Martel Taylor Crossdale, Raul Jr. and O'Nino Jr. all on the score sheet. So as we are in this kind of form and we are unbeaten since the first day of the season when we lost to Malaga, you would think we would be top of the table. And I'll be honest with you, you would be right. You are right. We are top of the table, but only just, and only very recently. Almeria B, who we play today, are in second place on 30 points. Linese, they're on 30 points as well in third. Marina, who we beat a couple episodes ago, are on 29 points. So it is really, really tight. And if we lose to Sevilla and Almeria today, Sevilla, who are in 5th right now, could overtake us because they're on 26 points. We've only just got to top of the table as well. Despite the form we've been in, it's taken a long time to get to the top. Almeria have had a brief spell at the top. Linese have been up there at top for a little bit. Seville weren't ever top. Mariano won't ever top. La Jolla were top for quite a while. They've dropped down in recent weeks, as you can see. But we've only just got to the top of the table. So it just shows how tight this league is. And what makes it even more impressive that we are doing so well is that we have lost players in this time. We lost Jose Carlos Sanchez. He got recalled from his loan after only making 2 appearances, which is kind of understandable. But what was quite annoying to me was that we lost George Hernando, the centre-back, because he was playing as a ball-playing centre-back, not a centre-back. That's what they're a bit cross about. So I was very annoyed about losing George Hernando because he was a very useful player. So I basically put a bid in for him to loan him back. Like, as soon as this happened, I said, can we loan him back again? And they said yes. So we've got George Hernando coming back to the club on loan, although he's not coming until January, which is a bit annoying. I didn't realise that when I actually made the loan offer for him. So George Hernando is coming back to the club and hopefully won't get recalled again, but he is coming back in January. So it's a whole waste of time, really. I think basically we've just got to imagine he's been injured this entire time, maybe. But he got called back and then they just immediately let him come back to us, which was bizarre. Wasn't the only bit of transfer news, although we didn't actually sell anyone else. Again, Anthony Ward is coming back to me saying that he wants to leave the club. And I keep saying, you can leave for £5 million. That's your minimum period release clause. And he keeps going to me, let me go. And basically I'm keeping an 18-year-old kid here at ransom. So obviously he's not particularly happy with me, but there are a few happy players in the squad because Martel Taylor Crossdale, Randy Schneider, Andre Schutigel and Marko Dobrjevic have all taken up Gibraltar citizenship. If we look here on the squad view, look, Marko Dobrjevic, second nationality Gibraltar, Randy Schneider, second nationality Gibraltar, Ondrej Šitiđel, second nationality Gibraltar, and Martel Tedder-Crossdale, first nationality is Gibraltar because he is now fully capped at Gibraltar international level and even scored a goal for them as well. So Martel Tedder-Crossdale now plays for Gibraltar. Ondrej Šitiđel and Marko Dobrjevic both want to play for Gibraltar, apparently. Randy Schneider's got the citizenship, but he is now playing for the Switzerland under-21, so I don't think he'll ever play for Gibraltar, but the option is there should he want to take it. So I think it's great that we are feeding directly into the Gibraltar national side. You only have to stay in the country for 2 years to gain citizenship, so plenty of foreign players could come in and start playing for Gibraltar if they wanted to. Also, eagle-eyed amongst you on the squad view, you'll have noticed that there's plenty of players in on trial. These are just being tested to see how good they are, to see if we can sign any of them for January time, because we do need the players. We've got a very, very small squad now. Issue is, none of them are particularly good, so my scouts are currently going out and scouting out every player available to loan, basically, who's interested in coming to the club. So come January, we should be able to get a decent few loan players into the club. So, all the news out the way, let's get into this first game of today's episode against Almeria B. It's a top of the table clash, as you can see. We sit top, Almeria sit second. Almeria have the league's top goal scorer in their ranks as well, which is a little scary. Our top goal scorer, Kike, has been out injured for the past 4 or 5 weeks or so. Should be back to training tomorrow, but I'd rather not risk him. So we're going to stick with that striking trio of Onino Jr., Martel Tedder-Crossdale and Raul Jr. The midfield trio is combined of Ondrej Šitiđel, Randy Schneider and Michael Cipollina, with that backline of Ethan Brito, Eusebio Monzo, Dobrjevic, Kian Ronan and Anthony Ward in the sticks. Actually, we can take Eusebio Monzo off the pitch now. We had to swap him out because Lopez was injured for the last game, but he's actually back now. I didn't realise he was back. So let's get Lopez back on the pitch instead because he is a better centre-back. Relegate Eusebio Monzo to the bench, and I think that's going to be the team. Also getting very hot, so the jumper's coming off. So then, biggest game of the season for us so far. It's first v second in the division. And as you can see, our new away kits are looking absolutely beautiful out there on the pitch. With the nice red sleeves and the green sleeves and the white kit. It's absolutely fantastic as we just put that wide of the mark. Almeria B coming forward on the ball though, looking for their first real attack of the game as they get the ball across to their winger, I suppose, who puts it just over the bar. Goal kick for Almeria B though. I'm really desperate to see a goal in this game. Really desperate to see a goal. I don't even mind who it's for at the moment. I'm just desperate to see a goal, and you'll find out why very shortly, as it looks like Almeria B are not coming forward because we win possession back, although we're just giving it straight back to them as they play it back to their goalkeeper, who hoofs it out to their left winger. Victor coming forward on the ball for Almeria B. Gets it into the middle, back to their left winger. It's a fantastic ball, to be fair. Can he put the cross into the middle? Not quite. He's got another chance to do it, though. Victor in the middle, and there is a goal. What's this on my phone? What? Oh, it's a notification from OneFootball telling me that Almeria B have scored against Lincoln Red Imps. Of course, today's video is sponsored by OneFootball, the app where you can get all the latest footballing news, live scores, updates, and all the information you need about your team. You can follow your favourite teams or teams to support, all the teams, of course, you're playing as in a Football Manager to keep up to date with everything that you need to know about them. You can download it via the link in the description. Would massively help me out and I would massively appreciate it. That's why I was desperate for just anyone to score, basically. I decided at the start of today's episode, I'm going to do today's sponsorship integration when someone scores a goal. So I can say, oh, look, we've got a live score update on my phone from OneFootball. And I could guarantee as soon as I decide to do that, there was going to be no goals in either of today's games. I'll start to panic. So I'm glad that someone scored at least. If you have downloaded OneFootball though via my link, let me know in the comment section what you think of the app, because I can always give some feedback to the OneFootball guys about what you guys think, I'm pretty sure. In the meantime, Victor coming forward once again for Almeria B. We've seen him be a bit of a danger man in today's episode so far, so we need to stop him from getting balls into the middle. Ondrej Šitiđel clears it, but only as far as this Victor chap again, who maybe we should try and sign, because he does look very, very good. Although if he's playing for Sevilla B, he must have a bit of potential on him, as Anthony Ward almost is made a fool of there, but luckily collects the loose ball. Half-time, though, is not looking good because we are 1-0 down. Almeria B outplaying us a little bit, I must say. So I'm going to throw a bottle at half-time. I'm going to say I'm far from pleased. It's demotivated a lot of players out there, but It usually does, and then it usually works out quite well for us. Or maybe it's not going to work out well for us, as they've got a one-on-one with Anthony Ward. Anthony Ward with a good save, though. I tell you what, I really do like our away kit in-game. I love the red sleeve and the green sleeve. I think it looks so nice, and it reminds me of Andrei Shitijel. It literally is the Belarus flag colours. So Andrei Shitijel has really outdone himself there by picking these colours for the kits. Don't know how he's done it, but obviously he's got his magic ways of fixing everything. So he's clearly done something to get that done for the club. And for himself, I suppose, in a way too, as Michael Cipollina puts the ball forward. Raul Jr. on the end of it, and it's been disallowed for offside. You've got to be joking me. Where was the offside in that? There wasn't one. Show me an offside here, and I will... Okay, there's at least 5 players offside there. Good job I didn't say what I was going to do. Annoyingly, though, we are still behind. Let's give Kike a little run towards the end of this game. Let's get Raul Jr., who's played the worst out of the front 3, off the pitch. Let's also get Randy Schneider off. He's not had a great game. Let's bring Mustafa Yaya on instead. Swap him and Chittigel over. And then also Ethan Brito, a poor game. Eusebio Monzo, on you come. Let's go a bit more attacking. Let's say demand more. And maybe let's get work the ball into the box off, just so we, in fact, whilst I'm there as well, if I can click on the right thing again, shoot on sight. Let's give that a go. We've had plenty of shots today, but the XG has been terrible, so maybe just shooting from anywhere might give us a better chance of scoring in the final 10 minutes or so, although since I've made those changes, not a single highlight, and we've finally lost a game since the first day of the season. We've come close a couple of times, I must say, to losing games, particularly at the start of the season, where we saved ourselves a couple of times, but finally, Almeria B do get the better of us. So obviously not ideal. We do go second in the table as Almeria go ahead of us, but we are only 1 point behind them, so that's obviously still a positive. Annoyingly though, we could drop behind Lenesse today because they also have to play still. They could go up to 33 points. I don't think we can go behind Mariana because we beat them, and this is all done on head-to-head record first and foremost, I believe. Results between teams, so your head-to-head record first and foremost. We beat Mariano earlier on, so even if they are on level points with us and they've got plus 100 goal difference, we've got minus 100 goal difference, we'd still stay ahead of them. Luckily for us though, Lenesse lost their game, did they? Have they even played? They have played. Who did they play against? And they lost to El Ejido, and then Marino have drawn 1-1 with Motril. So most results going in our favour there, obviously, apart from ours, because obviously that didn't go in our favour. I did mention earlier on how Jez Finley might be getting a shot in the first team soon, and that is because I think technically he's actually the 4th best centre-back at the club. We have got a few players that can play centre-back. Eusebio Monzo can play centre-back, but he's more of a left-back. We've got Toscano who can play centre-back, but he's more of a right-back himself. And I think a key part of this save should be youth development. So I'm thinking for the game against Sevilla, we bring him in. I'm going to get him so confused with Jezovic, I know I am, but it's time to move him up to the first team, and we can't do it outside the transfer window, can we? I forgot about this thing with the B team. It's so weird. Sometimes we're allowed to get players to play for the B team. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes we can move players. Sometimes we can't move players. And this is outside the transfer window. Obviously, it says outside the transfer window we can't do it, but sometimes it does let me do it. Or maybe you can move players one way, but you can't move them the other way. Maybe that's how it works. Either way, we're going to have to wait, aren't we? We're going to have to wait until January to get him into the team. Sorry, Jez. I'm just praying we don't get any more injuries. We have had a few injuries that have meant we've had to mask things together a little bit, but hopefully we don't get anything major through December, and then we can sort it all out nicely. Right, for the next game against Sevilla, we're going to bring Kike back on the pitch for Onino Jr. Do I want to make any other changes? Yes, Gabilondo is going to come back on for Kian Ronan, and Brito will come off for Eusebio Monzo. Mustafa Yaya, he sustained an injury actually in between episodes, and he's not really found his way back into the starting lineup yet. Randy Schneider's had a poor past 5 games or so, which isn't so good. So's Raul Jr., to be fair, actually. So there's a few players who I'm thinking of switching around. It's just at the moment we've got such a small squad, there's not really much we can do. So as kickoff is upon us here today for today's second game, obviously Sevilla also a very decent team. Ideally we will be beating them, but it's going to be so difficult because they've got such a big pool of resources, Sevilla. The same as Almeria. You know, these two teams, and Malaga as well, they should be around the top of the table. Tenerife and Granada, they've had terrible seasons, to be fair. Other B team. We've got 5 B teams in our division this this season. It's so rubbish. I'm really against the idea of B teams in English football. I think it'd be such a terrible thing to do. Because imagine if you've worked so hard as a team all season, like we did last season. Raul Jr., amazing stuff, scores his 11th goal of this season. Like we did all season. We won the league. We should have got promoted, and yet we lost to a B team in the playoffs who are basically just bankrolled by the big La Liga clubs, and then they get promoted instead. It's so annoying. So I am really against B teams in English football. I know they're in obviously Spanish football, German football, not sure about French football, but I just don't like them, basically. I think they're a bit of a poison to football, as we've nearly conceded to a B team here. I get the idea that it's sort of meant to help promote the national team, because then you get the youth players playing regular football, but that's what the loan system's for. Get them on loan. Get them being kicked around at Luton or something like that, and you'll be fine. Luton's not a great example. They're a championship club now, actually, aren't they? Get them kicking around at Sutton or something like that, and it'll be fine. What isn't fine is Juan Manuel Gutierrez has just scored for Sevilla, which isn't... Poor from us, to be fair, defensively. We should have done a lot better with this one. I'm not pleased with this. But I think you get what I'm trying to say. B teams, not a fan. What I am a fan of is Kike getting his 13th goal of the season immediately after Sevilla score their goal. Amazing. And with that, we go top of the table, because Almeria B, how are they getting? Are they losing, Almeria? I can't see them on here anywhere. Unless they kicked off earlier on or something like that. But they're on 17 games played as well, and they're still on 33 points. We're on 35, and we've moved ahead of them in the table. So I'm presuming that they are losing or have lost a game earlier on. I just can't see it for whatever reason, because I'm probably blind. That's what happens most of the time, really. In the meantime, Sevilla are trying to ruin our fun and looking to come forward and score past us. Alvarez coming forward down the right-hand side of the pitch. Can he put a ball into the middle? Not quite. Can we stop the ball being put into the middle by his mate, though? No, we can't, as the ball is put into the middle. Not basically, I need to stop talking and just assuming things are going to happen, although... You hate to see it. Although it's disallowed. You love to see it. So half-time, 2-1. It's been a bit of a tumultuous first half. Lots of things happening and lots of things being said by me about B teams. And I've kind of lost my train of thought of what's happened in the game and what I've said. But I need to find out what's happened to Almeria. Right, I've looked at this a few times now. I can guarantee you they are not there. So they must have been an early kickoff and they're just not showing on that later scores thing. So we'll see what they did in a minute. In the meantime, Sevilla looking to come forward down the left-hand side of the pitch. Barbero puts the ball into the middle and it's nearly put in the back of the net. Some good blocks and some good saves there as Lopez finally clears it up towards Kike. And can we get on the counter-attack here? If we score off this, this would be incredible, although we're not going to, are we? 30 minutes to go. Who's playing poorly at the moment? Martel Taylor-Crosdale is playing poorly at the moment. Let's get him off the pitch for El Nino. Scipio is going to come on in the middle for Andre No, he's not. He's not. We're going to bring Mustafa Yaya on for Andre Shittigel, and Michael Cipollini will be swapped with Scipio himself. And that's all 3 changes, actually, isn't it? So 3 changes to make with 25 minutes to go in this game. A very tight and close game. And Sevilla, I must say, I think have looked the better of the 2 teams today. They seem to have created some more highlight-worthy chances, and to be honest, they should have scored 2 or 3 more, I think. But looking at the XG, we have had the better of the chances because we're on a 1.34, they're on a 0.94 or something like that. So maybe we are rightly in front in this game, but I feel like we've seen better chances and better play from Sevilla. But Raul Jr. coming forward, gets the ball out wide to Mustafa Yaya. Mustafa Yaya, who actually also plays for Gibraltar now. Completely forgot about that. Mustafa Yaya, a 5th player who's made Gibraltar citizenship. He's played for Gibraltar internationally too. He gets the ball to Raul Jr. And it's 3-1 to us now. So Dobrievic, Shittigel, Randy Schneider, Martel Taylor-Crosdale and Yaya. They've all got Gibraltar citizenship. And 2 of them, Crosdale and Yaya, are currently playing for Gibraltar internationally, which is pretty mental in my opinion. As can we grab a 4th goal in this game, which would be very undeserved, I must say, as Raul Jr. How has he not crossed that? How has he not put that on a plate for Kike? He's messed himself up there a little bit. And if Sevilla score now, I'm going to be very cross. And I nearly was very cross. Luckily for us though, with 2 minutes to go, we've got a 2-goal lead in this game as Mustafa Yaya wins possession back for us. Forward to Eusebio Monzo with his left foot into El Nino Jr., who's brought down in the area. Surely a penalty. And I think Raul Jr. scored 2 goals today, so he's got a chance to make it a hat-trick as he steps up for the penalty. Come on, Raul, lad. You love to see it. I don't know what I was trying to say then. I think I was going to try and say scored, and then it all just came out as a because I panicked. You'd think it'd be easy just talking over a game, but sometimes you really don't know what to say, and your words get mixed. And your words get messed up, not mixed up. See, you try and think of two things at the same time and it all comes out as one. Either way, I think we can be very pleased with that result. Fantastic stuff. Great win for us. Well done, lads. And we needed that win. Still not seeing Almeria's loss, so they must have played yesterday and I've just not bothered to look at it. They did lose either way to Montreal 3-1 after they beat us. So we go back on top of the table by 2 points, as you can see, which is fantastic. Almeria B stay second. Marino stay third. So it's all even Stevens still. Well, it's not even Stevens because we're 5 points clear of Marino and 2 points clear of Almeria. It's 5 Stevens. Tom, you need to stop talking and just finish today's episode now. You keep messing things up. Next episode then, I think we're going to come back at the start of February for Linesse because they're 4th in the table and are still a title challenger. And I think we'll also play against Hayen as well because that'll be quite an interesting game. Different dynamic with them near the bottom of the table. So thank you very much for watching today's episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Of course, if you have done, drop a like on today's video for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And I will see you next time. Have a good one. Goodbye.